Okay, town clerk. Tracy is going to reconvene our meeting from yesterday.
Following yesterday's vote, we are to notify and warn said inhabitants to meet in person at the Crescent Park Gymnasium, 19 Crescent Street in said town of Bethel, Wednesday, the 10th of June, AD 2026 at 6 p.m. Then and there to act on Article 3 through 48 as set out below. To elect by ballot a moderator to preside the meeting. Brett Maxfield was sworn in yesterday. To elect all municipal officers, assessors, and school board directors that are required to be elected.
Great. I will read the results to you. Thank you, Tracy.
A little louder, please.
A little louder? Is that better? Okay. Select board, 3-year terms, vote for 2. Michelle Darillo Cole got 310. Rebecca Hoskins got 292. And Sarah Southam got 498. Therefore, Sarah Southam and Michelle Cole were re-elected to the Board of Selectmen for 3-year term. Bethel Board of Assessors for 3-year term. There was one candidate, Michelle Cole. She received 513 votes, and there were 16 write-ins. Michelle Cole was re-elected to the Board of Assessors. SAG 44, go ahead. SAG 44 Board Directors at Large for 3 years. Stephanie Kayer and Stephanie Herbert were re-elected. I don't know if they were re-elected or not, but they were elected yesterday. Stephanie had 543 votes, and Stephanie Herbert had 529 votes. Both elected. The school board director at large, Greenwood, from Greenwood. How does that work? It says Greenwood. Is that right? Okay. Destiny Hughes, oh, that's right. I forget the name. Destiny Hughes received 583 ballots, and she was elected to a 3-year term as a director from Greenwood at large. And SAG 44 Board Director at Large, Newry, Jared Connors had 564 ballots, and he was elected for a 3-year term. And finally, SAG 44 Board Director at Large, Woodstock, for a 3-year term, Brian Kendall received 584 ballots, and he was re-elected to that position. That is the results of yesterday's municipal voting. At this time, State Representative Rachel Henderson and State Senator Joe Lyon have a presentation to make.
Thank you, Brian. Could I get everybody to stand to salute the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, well, Stan Howe was a friend of mine for over 50 years, and this sentiment means a lot to me, and I'd like to Sister Kathy to come up and stand here with us while we do this, if we can take the sentiment with her. Oh, okay. Is that better? All right. Tonight, I would like to take a few moments to recognize the life and legacy of Dr. Stan Howe, a man whose contributions to Bethel will continue to be felt for generations. Many people knew Stan as the historian of Bethel, but he was much more than that. He was a teacher, an author, a community leader, a Grange member, a former master of the Alder River Grange, and a former Bethel selectman. And above all, a man who deeply loved this town and its people. For nearly 4 decades, Stan served as curator, executive director, and later director of education and research for the Bethel Historical Society. Through his leadership, what began as a local historical organization grew into a respected regional institution preserving the history of Western Maine and the White Mountains region. Because of his dedication, countless documents, photographs, artifacts, and stories that might have otherwise been lost were preserved for future generations. Stan believed that history mattered because people mattered. He understood that every family, every farm, every business, every church, and every organization helped shape the story of our communities. He spent his life making sure those stories were not forgotten. His service extended beyond history. He believed in civic responsibility and community involvement, whether through local government, the Grange, educational programs, or volunteer efforts. Stan gave generously of his time and knowledge. He was always willing to answer a question, help with research, or share a story that connected the past to the present. Many of us will remember his remarkable knowledge, but those who knew him best will remember him for something even more important, his kindness. He welcomed people warmly, listened carefully, and treated everyone with respect. The town of Bethel is richer because Stan Howe lived here. Future generations who walk through our museums, study our history, and learn about the people who built this community will continue to benefit from the work he devoted his life to. On behalf of all who value the history, traditions, and spirit of Bethel, we offer our gratitude. This was truly a life of service, learning, and dedication. May we honor his memory by continuing to care for the community that he loved. Thank you, Stan Howe. You will not be forgotten.
Good evening. Be it known to all that we, the members of the Senate and House of Representatives, join in recognizing the late Stanley Howe of Bethel, recipient of the Spirit of America Foundation Award, and to whom the 2026 Town Report of Bethel is dedicated. The Spirit of America Foundation was established to encourage and promote volunteerism, and the foundation presents awards to honor local individuals, organizations, or projects in appreciation of community service. And be it ordered that this official expression of sentiment be sent forthwith on behalf of the 132nd Legislature and the people of the great state of Maine.
Thank you, Senator Martin and Representative Henderson. Thank you very much, and certainly Stan will be missed. As we get underway this evening, just a few things I want to go over with you. I don't know if there's any non-residents here tonight who would like to speak at any time, but we certainly can, as long as you have the support of the people. We'd have to take a vote to allow you to speak, so if that needs to happen, just let me know and we will do that. I would like to have your approval to use the Maine Moderator's Manual as our guide for the meeting, and being no objection, we will proceed in that way. I will not accept a negative motion or a pass over the article motion. Ordinances may not be amended, and it will be very helpful if when you address the meeting, you would state your name. And as I always say, everyone will have a chance to speak, but I will not recognize repeat speakers on the same article until all first-time speakers have had their opportunity to address the attendees. And please direct all questions through the moderator to prevent back and forth discussions, and please don't speak over one another so we can all understand what's being said. And we do have a mic that will float through the meeting room so that we can all hear. And I understand that there's a couple of articles anyway that it's been mentioned that you might like a paper ballot. So when we get to those articles, I will ask you for a motion if you want to make a motion to use paper ballots. And we are prepared to do that this evening when the time comes. So I think with that, we are ready to move along. Okay, Could I have a motion to allow Sharon Jackson to speak, as she's a non-resident? Thank you. Everybody in favor? No, thank you. And also Stephanie Colby is a non-resident. Could I have a motion to allow her to speak? Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. You're both all set, and the time comes as needed. Article 3. To see if the town will vote to amend Code Chapter 5, Administration 5-21-C, the town manager shall have the power to appoint and remove as necessary the various department heads and all town employees in accordance with the provisions of Title 30-A of the Maine Revised Statutes, Section 2636, and the Personnel Policy. Could I have a motion on Article 3, please? Thank you. We have a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Questions on Article 3? Yes, sir. We've got a... If anybody feels like running the mic, I'd like to have you.
Test it. Aaron Estrange, could the town manager or the select board clarify why this change is being presented to the town, given that, as outlined, it doesn't actually change any of the powers of the town manager?
It's just to add the state statute in because that's relevant in addition to the personnel policy.
Further? Yes?
Lindsay Gardner, Bethel resident. Are we doing this with other pieces of code? Because I assume state statute is relevant in other places in our existing code, and just curious why we're doing just this article, or is this a change that's happening across our code?
As we look at codes and we find adjustments that have to be made that will reference state statute or any other things, those will be recommended to be changed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I speak in support of Article 3. It really is a housekeeping measure more than anything. Let's pay attention to Articles 4, 5, and 6. Coming right up. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? If not, then I ask you for your vote. All those in favor of Article 3 as read and explained, please indicate. Those opposed? Article 3 is approved as presented. Thank you. Article 4. To see if the town will vote to amend Code Chapter 5, that's Administration 5, subsection 5-37-C, expenditures shall be summarized by department. For the purpose of this configuration, departments of assessing, town clerk, finance and planning, and development will be considered sub-department expenditures of one administrative budget. Sub-department expenditures shall be further broken down and presented in a line item format with a categorical consistency and a uniformity across all departments to the extent it is practical. These expenditures, which cannot be classified within a department summary, shall nevertheless be grouped with expenditures of generally common purpose or identified separately as determined by the town manager. In all cases, the presentation of expenditures within the budget shall be clear and concise. Could I have a motion, please? Thank you. Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Questions or anything on Article 4? Mr. Cole.
Thank you, Bert. I'll speak in opposition to Article 4, 5, and 6, and they all tie together. Article 6 is actually the funding article, but Articles 4 and 5 are necessary to be adopted in order to make Article 6 valid. But by all rights, when the selectmen that they're urging the town manager, 4 or 5 selectmen, put this on the warrant on May 20th, it was invalid or illegal action because the code, our current town code dictates that the individual departments in place here, administration, finance, code, assessing, and there's one more there. They they actually are by statute separate functions, and they really ought to be respected that way. Unfortunately, the selectmen, I know Michelle was against it, my wife, but the other four went along with the, whatever, the urging or what have you. And it shouldn't have been placed. I almost went to court getting an injunction, but I didn't want to look like a jerk. But let's defeat it tonight. Let's come back, defeat all three coming up. Let's come back in 2 weeks, ask the selectmen politely, respect their ordinances, do the job, and we can talk about merging so-called administrative functions in a separate place, but not tonight, not 2 weeks from now. Thank you very much.
Jamie?
Jane Ryerson. So does this mean that we would vote on all these departments as one entity instead of like what we do right now, which is vote individually for departments?
The administration budget would be one budget which would consist of the 7 different jobs, the 7 different positions in the town office. It's separate from any other department.
This is just town office personnel. Correct?
Yes, this is just for the town office personnel, the 7 positions. According to the code, there are 5 different budgets that you have voted on in the past. Some budgets might only have 2 items within that budget. And so my proposal in changing the code is so that one budget be drafted that includes all 7 positions, because they share all of the resources in that office. And each of their jobs, if you look at the line item budget that's in the reference material that I prepared, you'll see that all 7 positions are listed separately there with their wages, and the rest of the items that everyone shares as resources in the town office is also listed. So that is my recommendation. This is consistent with how I have prepared budgets in 3 other towns, which I understand it's not the way it's been done here. But the reason for that is to have one budget for the 7 staff in the town office and not 5 budgets.
Michelle Zagardo. I just want to speak in opposition to 4, 5, and 6, and we'll get to 5 and 6 in a minute. But right now, the way that I see Article 4, I understand that our town manager has done this in other towns. But, and while it might be convenient to roll the budgets into one, I do want to think about the way that people have voted to defend the code in Bethel for generations, and to give us that information. And this would, again, roll everything up into one when we have, you know, finance and planning, town clerk, assessing. These are all very different functions, and I think that they should be presented as such.
Michelle Cole. To answer your question, Jane, yes, all those department budgets are into one. It's more than just the wages, it would include everything that goes with it. So for the clerk, it's the voting, it's the elections, it's the code administration, and for assessing, it's the assessing agent and the mapping and all those things that go with it. So it's the full budget all in one.
Thank you.
Faye, do I need to introduce myself? Focus before I... Yes, I really appreciate all the questions about this, because I think it's really important that folks understand how the budgets are laid out and understand what's in the budget. There have been a lot of conversations about these leading up to the town meeting, and I think it's been really helpful. And honestly, all of these conversations have led me to believe more firmly that it makes sense to combine these budgets. I think it is clearly improving the efficiency of the town offices, and I think the efficiency of the town offices saves us money. It is not sacrificing, in my opinion, it's not sacrificing clarity. You can continue to see each of the line items. We're not splitting them in ways that feel, to me, redundant. So I find it to be very clear, efficient, and straightforward. I appreciate the questions, and I think that everyone views budgets and has different comfortability with budgets. I think that the combined administrative budget is a benefit to the community.
Yes, over here.
Hi, Beth Weisberger. I do understand that 4 is just about the budget, is not where the people vote on the articles, but it relates, if we prepare the budget this way, it affects how we vote on the articles, and that's where my opposition is, because the way we have capped articles written means that we can only lower the amount of money spent on a specific department. And so let's say I wanted to lower one of the 5 categories that are now being lumped together. And so I make an amendment and it passes and we lower, or I make an amendment for, let's say, town planning to be lowered by $50,000. That, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that because that amendment is lumped now into 5 categories altogether, the town manager and the select board now can choose to take that money out of any of the 5 categories. So it's no longer like I no longer have the power as a voter to control the specific budget. And I guess that's where I struggle that this was prepared this way before we even had a chance to discuss it. And besides efficiency, like, I don't know if efficiency is always means what's best for all of us sitting in this room. So, thanks.
So I'd like to respond to that. A motion can be made to reduce the spending by stating that they don't support the recommended spending on the specific item in the sub-department. If the motion passes to lower the administration budget based on the voters' recommendation, the select board and the town manager would then review the voters' intent for removing the item from the money item from the article. In my past experience in 3 other towns, and they're not the only towns that do it this way, when a budget is reduced, the select board and the town manager look at the intent of why the article was reduced. And as long as it is in the best interest of the town, that recommendation stands, and that's what happens. So I do recommend that this be supported this way, because if you stated that your reason for reducing was for one specific item, that is what the selectmen in the past and myself as manager have always recognized being reduced.
Thank you. Over here. Just a second, please. Wait for the mic.
Lawyer Windsor, I'd like to move the question.
Thank you. I have a motion to move the question. Does it have a second? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor of moving the question? Thank you. Those opposed? We will vote on the question as it is presented to us and has been explained to this point. Do you want a paper ballot on this one, or is show of hands enough? Show of hands, okay. All those in favor of Article 4 as presented and explained, please indicate by raising your hand. Thank you. Those opposed? We got to count them. So, no is down. All those in favor, hold them right up so we can get a good count. Okay, those opposed? Okay, 109 ballots were counted, in hands. 59 yes, 50 no, so Article 4 is approved as presented. 59 yes and 50 no. Article 5. To see if the town will vote to amend Code Chapter 5, Administrative, subsection 5-40. The warrant of the annual town meeting shall also be prepared to include separate articles for each departmental appropriation. Non-departmental appropriations of similar purpose may be grouped into a single warrant article at the discretion of the select board, except for the administrative budget as referenced in subsection 5-37. Could I have a motion, please?
Jennifer Anderson, I move Article 5 as read.
Thank you. Do a second? Been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments on Article 5? Yes.
Michelle Zagardo. I am speaking in opposition to Article 5, which allows our select board and town manager to roll our entire administrative budget into one single article so that we cannot control what is voted up and what is voted down. This article that we are about to vote on, Article 6, will be made legal if we vote yes on Article 5. And Article 6 includes an administrative assistant for our town manager, which will increase the amount of money that our town pays for administration from $175,000 to almost $250,000. So right now, as you guys may have seen, our town manager makes $75 an hour, and Article 6 will add an administrative assistant to our employees. And if we vote Article 5 yes, then that will be legal. If we vote Article 5 no, then we will have to be presented another budget that splits up those departments so that we can then vote department by department on what we want as a town.
Thank you.
So I'm going to explain something that has not been explained accurately. There is no part-time assistant for the town manager proposed. That part-time position is an administrative assistant to the finance officer, the town manager, and the airport manager. That is because there is not enough staff to do the work in the finance office. So the part-time position is going to pick up work that is needed to be done in the finance office that was originally being done by the auditors at 3 times the cost. Then I hired a contractor to come in and do that same work. That was at a much higher cost. So then the decision was to create a part-time administrative assistant to 3 positions. In the town of Bethel, the town manager is also the airport manager. That requires a lot of additional work that is required to be done. For 2.5 years, we have worked very hard in the town office to bring all of the accounts where they need to be and to get everything done the way it's supposed to be, working with new auditors since November of 2023, the month after I was hired. I've worked with this same auditing company now for over 10 years, and they know what they're doing. The other thing that this part-time position is going to do within the finance office is going to provide a system that we don't have, and that is segregation of duties. All of the jobs that the finance officer is doing now cannot all be done by the same person. They have to be segregated and being done by someone else. You can't pay the bills from the invoices and then balance the checking account and issue the warrant and sign the checks. Those jobs are going to be split between the current finance officer and the part-time assistant. Also,
She's addressing Article 6, that's the funding article. Right now, we're...
I'm addressing why Article 5 needs to pass, why I'm recommending that Article 5 be supported so that Article 6 can pass. And the last statement I would like to make is the public, you the public, the voting public, elect the select board who are responsible for tracking the spending in the town of Bethel. You hire a town manager to make sure that the town manager does the work that needs to be done with his or her staff and the people hired to do that job, which is why I'm asking that this change, because there is a system in place. This will create a lot more efficiency. And the list from my finance director, when I asked her to make a list of pros and cons, how managing one budget versus 5 budget helps her in her job, and that is improved efficiency, reduced administrative burden, greater financial oversight, potential cost savings, consistent spending practices, decrease the number of account numbers needed. We have a chart of accounts that we have no more accounts left to use because every account number has been used. The auditors have recommended that we set up a new chart of accounts, and this will enable us to do this by consolidating everything into one budget. It creates better flexibility, stronger accountability, and easier reporting and forecasting. When I was hired here, I was hired to watch the accounts, monitor the accounts, and make sure that all of the financial reporting was accurately done, and that's what I'm doing, and that has resulted in both of these articles. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. Yes.
Lindsay Gardner. I'm voting no on this, and my issue with it is that Article 6 has already been written as if we already agreed to this change. I think for me, if the voters had voted last year on this, that this should be the change to the warrant and the structure, that's fine. I don't like that we've already just assumed that this would pass, and the article's being written as if we've already pre-approved this update. So I would say, for me, this just doesn't feel like it's in the intention of how a warrant should be structured according to our code, and I don't support that.
Thank you. Up back.
Hi, thank you for that information about the part-time role. I have a question about that. I'm sorry, Julie Reeve. Is the salaries are listed in the spreadsheets at the back, and so we can see the proposed salary for that. But then between healthcare benefits and work, other benefits, it's over $500,000, but that's not divided out by people. Are we paying this part-time person benefits? No. But then a second question about how we do propose the budgets. Why are all those additional costs not associated with individuals in terms of benefits? Why are they lumped together in the budget, employee benefits?
So if you look at the employee benefits section of the budget, I've broken it down to show the benefits in each department. The highway department and the town office. That is the total cost of the benefits in each of those departments. That actually changes on a year-by-year basis because staff coming and staff going. But I think that if you look at we have full-time people in the town office and we have full-time people in the highway department. Their benefits are listed separately. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Jim Martin, I have a question because I hate to stand here. Just my question, but you had said that you wanted an administrative assistant for finance, for airport, and for the town manager, correct? Part-time, yes, I understand that. So, under the department summary at the end, where it says general government administration, town manager, town clerk, deputy clerk, assistant clerk, finance officer, finance assistant. My question is that finance assistant the same person that you want to hire as a part-time administrative assistant, or is this finance assistant somebody else? And the same with the airport. I saw that there was an airport assistant, but is that the same person that you're going to hire as the part-time administrative assistant to finance, airport, and yourself?
Assistant's just the title, is just a word in these different titles. So at the airport, there are 2 jobs there. Neither have to do with the town office, so that's separate. The part-time position in the town office is an administrative assistant to do work in the finance office, who it would be separate than the finance officer. It would be separate from the town manager, and it would be separate from the finance officer. I think that's how you asked it, right?
The airport is separate, but I thought I heard earlier you said they would help you, because you're the airport person, that they would help you with that too. So
If there is additional work that the airport manager needs to have done in the clerical end of it, not in what the assistant at the airport assists is Brad. He assists Randy in doing the day-to-day, whether it's mowing or checking on the fuel deliveries and those kind of things. I don't do those. I work with FAA, I work with Maine DOT, and I work with making sure that as the town sponsor of the airport, the town owns the airport, that all of the grants and all of the paperwork is in order, and I work with the engineers for the airport. So that's all separate. Does that answer now? Okay.
Thank you, Sharon. Way up there.
Constance. I'm hearing a lot of doubt and suspicion being passed on the board and the manager. And I just want to point out that one of the loudest voices is a former town manager. And under Sharon in this select board, we've seen a dump scale go in that we didn't have before. We have income coming in from the airport that we didn't have before. So I just want you all to think about whether this doubt is founded and where it might be coming from.
Thank you. Yes, sir?
Your turn. If they need an assistant, I don't care. We elected them to run our town. If they think this works better, great, I don't care. I'm going to agree with Mr. Cole, everybody's sitting down so you're all right. If it's illegal, it needs to be dealt with now. The question I would ask the board, has this been run through the town attorney, that what we're trying to do here is legal? Because I don't want to end up back here in 2 weeks paying the town attorney a bunch of money because what we've done violates state law. That's all I ask. Is it legal?
It is not illegal. I have a written document from the town attorney on Articles 4, 5, and 6. If Article 5, as written, passes prior to voting on Article 6, which is the administration budget, everything is fine. If you vote not to approve Article 5, then Article 6 would be voted on in an up or down. You would either vote for it or vote against it. And if Article 5 does not pass, then we will have to schedule a special town meeting to come back, and I will prepare 5 separate budgets. That will need to be done before July 1st. That is from the attorney, and it is not illegal.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right here. Oh, right. Michelle, perhaps. Darren asked. Oh, my name's Wade Calhoun. Darren didn't ask if it was not illegal. He asked if it was legal.
Thank you.
it is legal to have Article 5 written as it is, and Article 6, and if it passes, then Article 6 can be voted to be passed. If Article 5 is not passed, then Article 6, you can vote it down, and we will come back with 5 separate budgets at a special town meeting. Does that answer your question? I said it is.
Thank you. Michelle?
Michelle Cole, if we just did it right the first time, we would be having this conversation, we'd be going to the next article. I just wanted to echo what Lindsay has said earlier in regards to getting the cart before the horse. But if we had done this article right before this, 4 and 5 ahead of time, and you all voted to go with it, then the next year we prepared the budget and it's prepared now. So I'm a little bit disappointed with that, with the cart before the horse. Getting back to Article 5, we've heard a lot about 6, but getting back to Article 5, it's coming down to a matter of principle. There are 4 or 5 departments there. There are programs, there are services, there are wages that this town offers to you, the public. I believe you have a right to know what those details are and to vote on them. You just voted me in as your assessor. Assessing doesn't have anything to do with the town administration. It has its own assessing agent, it has its own elected board. It's official, just like this board is. It is now being put into a budget with everybody else. I'd like to respect the independent nature of these departments. You have code enforcement and planning. Again, that's its own entity. You have the planning board is an independent board as well. You also have the clerk's office. The clerk did voting in elections today. Wouldn't you like to know what you're paying for with that service, right? If it's all broken down, you would see that. That's independent in nature as well. So that's what it is for me. Bethel has done it this way. It doesn't always have to do it this way, but I believe it's the right way for Bethel. The other towns that have been mentioned, they do things differently because they're set up differently. Their select board and their assessors are one and the same. So I can see how that works. And I do understand in the 4 walls of the town office, yes, consolidate supplies, consolidate equipment. But when it comes to the other services that you're paying for, I like to have it all together in one. So that is why I voted before in opposition on this, and I will vote again in opposition of it.
Thank you. Yes.
Lori Windsor, move the question, please.
What's the question? Do I have a second? All those in favor of moving the question and going to vote? Any opposed? The motion is approved. We will go to the vote. Article 5, I'll just review it with you. To see if the town will vote to amend Code Chapter 5, Administration, subsection 5-40, the warrant of the annual town meeting shall also be prepared to include separate articles for each departmental appropriation. Non-departmental appropriations of similar purpose may be grouped into a single warrant article at the discretion of the select board. All those in favor of Article 5 as read and discussed and explained, thank you. Those opposed? It looks like it loses, but I think perhaps we better count them just for the sake of counting. What do you say? Okay, all those in favor of Article 5?
Is in favor?
In favor of Article 5, approving Article 5. We got to count them. All those opposed? Hold them up. Hold them right up. Yep. All set? Thank you. People voted. There were 61 yes and 63 no. By that tally, it's defeated. On to Article 6. Article 6 says to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $792,893 for the administration department. The administration department includes the town manager, town clerk, assessor, finance, planning, and CEO. Fiscal year 26, it was $738,124. The select board and budget committee recommend approval. Could I have a motion, please? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Discussion, questions? Yes, Jane? Thank you.
Okay, so the last article was defeated. What happens if this gets approved and the article before it was defeated? Okay.
If Article 6 is approved, we will defeat.
Is it best to defeat both articles so it's smoother?
Whether 6 is defeated or approved, we will have to go back to a special town meeting where 5 separate budgets, you have to come back and vote on 5 separate budgets.
But it will total the 792
It's going to total that same amount, yes.
Okay.
But what will happen is, like I have one clerk who works in 4 of those departments. So that's one of the reasons I wanted this changed, was because she works in finance, she works in assessing, in planning, and in administration. She's not the only clerk whose job is divided that way. So yes.
Job variety.
So 5 new budgets will have to be done, and this will all have to be done before July 1st.
Scott?
The question at hand, the appropriation of money, now we see the ordinance didn't change. The selectmen were out of order offering it to us to begin with on May 20th when the warrant was prepared. At this point, as the town manager said, she's going to lose the truth on the legal opinion, but she's correct. We need to go back, we need to vote the funding either way. Let's make it a clean cut, vote this down, ask the selectmen to respect all of us, process of ordinances and due process. If you like, I would recommend you vote this down, we can vote it on 5, because it really seems like we're slipping away from the rules. We start to follow this. If you like what's happening in Washington, they just don't follow rules anymore, just do whatever. So we're doing the same here in Bethel. Again, there is a vote this down, and we'll come back in a week or two when the selectmen put it together. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. I'm Beth Weisberger. I just had a question. In my memory of previous town meetings when we had new positions, I remember them as separate articles. And I know in this Article 6, it includes the new position. And I guess I just wanted to understand why that change happened. Thank you.
I don't know what you did with the new positions prior to my coming, but I know that one new position was added in the town office since I've been there. That was not a warrant, separate warrant article. That money was put in the budget, and it was voted on by the budget committee and the select board. I've never seen any place I've been a separate warrant article for a new position. But the select board approved the position that was added, the new full-time position that was added the first year I was here. And that was approved through the budget process, and it was included in the budget, and that's how it was voted on. It's the same way it's being done right now for the 3 positions, new positions in this budget.
Thank you, Sharon. Yes, ma'am?
Lori Windsor, call the question, please.
Thank you. Do I have a second to calling the question? Yes. All in favor of going to the vote? Those opposed? We will go to the vote. All those in favor of Article 6, and Article 6 reads as follows: to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $792,893 for the administration department. The administration department includes the town manager, town clerk, assessor, finance, planning, and CEO. All those in favor of Article 6 as read, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 6 is soundly defeated. Article 7, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,904 for the animal control department. Last year it was $10,867. Could I have a motion, please? Thank you. Second, it's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 7? Not seeing any, I call for your vote. All those in favor of Article 7 as read, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 7 is approved as presented. Article 8, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $695,950 for the Oxford County Patrol budget. Last year it was $673,865. Could I have a motion, please? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Questions on Article 8? I'm not seeing any. Okay, yes, sir? Just can you wait, please?
Rick Whitney, I'd like to request we have a written ballot.
Okay. I have a motion to request a written ballot. All those in favor of a written ballot, please raise your hand, lift your hand. Thank you. Those opposed? I would say it was approved, but I think we need to count them. All those in favor of voting by written ballot, please hold your hands up with the card. Hold them up right up, please, so they can see them easy. Okay. There were 65 yes votes. All those opposed, please hold the hand up. Thank you. 52 no votes, 65 yes, 52 no, so we will move to having a paper ballot to this vote. Yes? Okay. Hang
on. We've got a, I think it's a call log, this right here on the back of your letter. And it shows 1,850 incidents, hang-ups and wrong numbers, I don't consider incidents, but so it brings it down to 1,760. Is this for Bethel only? We'd like to make a motion to see if Sheriff Wainwright could talk.
I have a motion to allow Sheriff Wainwright to speak. All those in favor? Any opposed? Sheriff?
I have a follow-up. On the back of your letter that you sent out with the number of total incidents, are these just for Bethel, or is Newry in there? Is Albany in there? And also, out of your budget of $792,893, are we receiving anything from the county? Because I know the sheriff, and I'm not knocking the service, but I do know that they go to other areas when they're in Bethel. This isn't dedicated just to Bethel, so we're paying for service for other places, aren't we? And if we are, do they contribute to this? Got that?
Okay, to answer the first question, the 1,800 and some odd calls for service are just for the town of Bethel, just for incidents that took place in the town of Bethel. And yes, on occasion, deputies do respond in mutual aid to other towns in the surrounding area, much like the fire departments do. But normally we have another deputy come into Bethel to cover. We have a supervisor, another deputy there. That answers your question. As far as the number, what was the number you'd asked? I'm sorry.
We have a budget here of 792,893. I'm sorry, wait a minute. 695,950 for the sheriff's department. Is any of that money reimbursed through the county? Do we get any county money for the coverage of the Oxford County Sheriff's Department being in Bethel?
I guess I'm not understanding the question. The town of Bethel pays a county tax. Pays a county tax that covers all county services. This number is what the county commissioners came up with. It's right down to the paperclip. For 4 deputies, it's $168,446.25 per deputy per position. So that covers 12 hours for a deputy to be here per position to cover. 4 deputies cover 24-hour coverage. So that is the exact cost for that position.
To follow up then, I guess, seeing how I know that they go to Newry and other places, do they contribute anything towards the town of Bethel law enforcement?
Of course not.
Andrew Whitney, town of Bethel. I think most of you know my history and my work for the sheriff's office, and still involved in law enforcement and emergency services. Just a point of clarification, the 168 is the old number. The new number, I believe, is like 171 or 173, and then jumps to like 176 in 6 months. Which actually, I'm glad that we brought that up. The select board, we've asked several questions. We've had basically no luck. There's no negotiating with Oxford County. We don't have any, as long as we keep paying them, we will not have any negotiating power to do anything. One of the points that has been brought up, one of the issues is we are on a fiscal budget, so our budget ends here in June. Oxford County operates on a calendar budget. So when we asked for them, we asked the county to break it up into 2 6-month periods, because our opinion is they budgeted for this past year at 168. Why is it changing in the middle of their budget season for us to pay whatever, 173 I think now? So that's 171, sorry, 171. and then it's going to go up to 176 and change in 6 months. So that's one of the issues that we've had with Oxford County, and we haven't had any luck dealing with the commissioners on that. For that reason, I'm going to vote in opposition to this. I'll be very clear. We will have longer response times. That is what will happen. But there are a lot of towns around us that do this, and they do not pay, and they seem to survive. On this note, the sheriff talked about the fire departments. One difference between law enforcement and the fire service is fire service, Gilead Fire exists, Newry Fire exists, Greenwood, Woodstock. Many of these towns actually have a reciprocal service to offer us. We're in Bethel. We don't have anyone. The only town that borders us that has a police department is Rumford, and we all know that even though they border us, it's really a 30-minute drive from Bethel to Rumford. I think we all know that. So we don't get reciprocal coverage from those towns. So it's not, in my opinion, a fair comparison. Fire departments and rescue services, they operate differently than the law enforcement. So again, for that reason and many reasons, we've requested statistics. I know that, I think Beth, you came up with, you guys put some things together, which was helpful. I don't find that the statistics that the Sheriff's Office has provided us is very helpful. One of the numbers we have asked for and we don't get, and we were doing this when I was a selectman my previous term, is how many times does the Bethel deputy go to other towns? Because that's an important thing for us for negotiating purposes. That's an important thing, whether we're negotiating with Oxford County or trying to talk to other towns about it. We don't know that number, and that is a crucial number. And that's one of the many reasons why I'm voting in opposition of this, because we just are not getting anywhere where we're at.
Some of the numbers that Andy was mentioning, I had looked at the call logs that we got from the last few years, and it was just, what I pointed out on this one, there's like a Operation ID that got added, which has 564 calls, so it makes it look like this year all of a sudden we have a surge in calls, and I don't even really get a clear answer on what that is. But then the other thing is, I know that just in case anyone doesn't know, we're talking about extended, is that what it's called? Enhanced service, so like, we still would have our basic coverage from the sheriff's office, but what we're talking about right here is the extra that we pay. And Dixfield, I believe, had enhanced service, and they stopped last year, and they continued to stop this year, and to me, that's sort of a sign that, and yeah, I think we would be the only place funding the county with enhanced service. And I think we should think about this, is a big number.
Aaron Tripp. I too was in law enforcement. I was the health and peace officer for 16 years. The last 5 years as the police chief. A couple of things that I want to touch on. First, negotiations. We cannot negotiate with the commissioners by the law. That number is set. The sheriff's department, the county cannot make a profit, and then they give us a discount. So that number is set in stone. So take negotiations off the table. Secondly, numbers are a joke, okay? Numbers are just a base plate. You know what the numbers don't show? The deputy sheriff out on patrol at 2 o'clock in the morning, making sure nobody's running through this town with dope. Now, if you want to see a problem, the other towns that don't have a problem about law enforcement, all you can do is look as far as Woodstock and what goes on there. You can look the backside of Gilead, see what goes on there. There's a cost having dedicated law enforcement. And right now it's almost $700,000. And yeah, that's a lot of money. I'm not gonna lie. I'd like to know if my taxes go down if you don't pass this, but I don't think it will. Secondly, there's a cost of not having dedicated law enforcement coverage. And that cost, you can't put a finite amount to it. Because we don't know how expensive that is until it happens. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, when somebody's kicking in your door, and the deputy's coming from his house in Livermore, think about that $700,000. And I bet you wish you spent it. The other week, there was a call in an adjacent town. The deputy sheriff had a 40-minute response time because that deputy was on the far end of their patrol area. Oxford County covers the Zone 3 deputy, which we are in the middle of Zone 3, covers 18 towns, from Wilmington Township on the Canadian border to Albany, and the New Hampshire state line as far as Canton. They're not out after midnight, they come out at 7. So from midnight to 7, if you're happy with having nobody driving around this town, but those people that probably we don't want in this town, vote it down. I can't put it any clearer. I can't. That's the cost, $700,000 or an undisclosed amount of money later that we just don't know the consequences to. There's your vote, folks. Very easy.
Hello, my name is Scott Cole. I lived in Bethel 27 years. I was here 10 years as the town manager, then I went and ran the county for 9 years as the administrator. I agree with Darren Triple 100%. The reality, you gotta have a cop on you in Bethel. Is there a spillover benefit to our neighboring towns? Yes, there is, because the cop will go out of town and help you. That's the way it works. That's the way it works with the Bethel PD. It's the way it works with all police departments. So, vote for this article, fully fund it. We can always go down and tinker with the commissioners. I don't agree with some of their bookkeeping, how they put the numbers, but in the end, yes, Darren's right. That's what it costs to have non-cop benefit. So, thank you very much.
Can I just speak loud? Okay. No, I can't. Okay. I just want to be clear that this is not the end of this conversation. If this is voted down, we can continue and should continue to have conversations about community safety and what we want safety to look like in our community. It's not either we spend $700,000 right now in a relationship, in a contract with commissioners who have made it very clear that they will not dicker with us. There is not a conversation to be had about adjusting. There's issues with the contract, there's issues with the budgeting. There's a lot that needs to be discussed, and I think we lose all leverage. If we vote this through, we lose any future conversation that we can have about what we want our community safety to look like that isn't just taking $700,000, $800,000 more. It just keeps going up year after year out of our pockets.
Just to address a couple questions, one that Selectman Whitney had. So the Sheriff's Office provides a daily and weekly activity log showing what the deputy does. And it records where they go and what they do, and that is provided to the town every week, and the Selectmen get a copy of that. So you could go through and research and go through and figure out which ones. As far as the property ID question you have, it's part of the computer system that tracks it. But one of the things that I've heard, because I've attended dozens of meetings, worked with 3 town managers and a select board that's changed, 6 or 8 times over the last 8 or 10 years. But one of the things that came up with is they wanted to know what the deputy was doing during the overnights, and they wanted to have properties checked. So the deputy's logging which time and what locations he's checking when they're checking businesses around the town. And also included in that lump is when a resident leaves and goes on vacation, is going to be gone, they call in and ask us to go check those properties. So those numbers go in that column as well. As far as numbers go, when one deputy responds and 8 or 10 deputies go to the same call, it's one call for service. Other towns would get 8 or 10 call numbers, so our numbers looking lower. If you look at the town of Mexico, when the Sheriff's Office took over, the call volume went lower, but that was because of just statistics and how we record it and how they do. So it's truly not a numbers game to answer that question for you. And if there's any question I didn't answer, I certainly would.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Lori Windsor moved the question.
No. Somebody else stand. Yeah.
Motion and a second.
Second.
I
I didn't get a second.
Over there. All those in favor of moving the question, voting now? All those opposed? We will continue the discussion. Yes.
Alexandra Masson. So I remember last year and probably the year before, we were having the same conversation. And I'm not sure if you've ever gotten a real answer to whether there is a way for this to be a collaborative cost for the greater Bethel area rather than just the town of Bethel. And it's okay if the answer is no, that's not something that's allowed. I'm not sure if it's something you guys can do or something that the sheriff's department would be open to considering, but the other towns absolutely benefit from us spending all of this money to have this round-the-clock sheriff's coverage. And I don't fault them for that. That's great. We should all have access to that. But I do think that it is hard for the Bethel taxpayers to be burdening all of that when it does also help our surrounding towns and those taxpayers.
The sheriff will answer that. Well, we can answer the question.
Is it even possible? It is possible. Yes. Okay. What can we do to look into that more?
What's that?
What can we do to look into that more?
You're sitting there.
Okay, I feel like I can answer that question for you because this has been brought up at numerous meetings that I've attended over the years. And yes, you could look to the neighboring towns, and I believe that there has been discussion with Newry in the past, especially in the winter and ski season, that they could share some of that burden. I will share with you that a few years ago, one of the selectmen was very concerned about the deputies leaving out of town, and then his daughter was in an accident in Lock Mills right over the line, and the Bethel deputy responded. So it is covering the area, so yes, the towns do certainly get a benefit from you. And then to answer Selectman Whitney's question or statement, he is correct that when you don't have towns around us that have police departments, they do get a benefit of that. And the more police departments that we lose, the less backup or reserve that we have in the county. But you do have deputies covering this area, but it's very sparse, the number of deputies covering the rural patrol area. So that answers those questions.
To further answer that question, in April, 4 select board members and myself attended a meeting with the commissioners, and that question was asked. We were told that we would have to initiate that question with our surrounding towns to see if they would be interested in doing a regionalization for these services. The towns of Woodstock, Bethel, Newry, and Greenwood, the select board members and the managers meet quarterly. That is going to be brought to the agenda for our next quarterly meeting to see if the other 3 towns have any interest in regionalizing with Bethel to do just that. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Just a couple of things. First of all, I 100% agree with Darren and his concerns. They're all very legitimate. And in fact, I agree with literally everything he said. I think the only thing for me that's different, or one of the big things for me that's different, is where that cost should be borne. If the sheriff's office is not staffed properly to handle their calls and to do the proactive policing that they need to do, they need to be funded, absolutely. But that should be, in my opinion, that should be at the county level. That should not be at the expense of Bethel taxpayers alone. Now, and when you talk about the negotiations and those forms of things, I think one of the advantages in the sense of not approving this, in my opinion tonight, is that we retain some of that leverage. And I hate to use that term. It just sounds like I'm just a mean, cold-hearted person. I promise you I'm not. But if we continue to support our own deputy and we continue as is, why would a town around us vote to help us out when they can get it for free, as they're in some cases doing now? And that gets back to, I think that's a great idea, and that's something that we need to pursue. But that also comes back to, I know Sheriff Wainwright says we have the numbers. We don't have the numbers, not the ones that we're looking for. The numbers that we have do not indicate that who's going where and when they're doing. And if that is the case, then I'm afraid that we're not getting all of the numbers, because I'm out there and I know what's going on. That's it for now.
Thank you, Mr. Tripp, and then Mr. Savage.
First of all, let's get one thing straight. The towns don't benefit from the deputy sheriff responding to Greenwood, Woodstock, Gilead. People benefit from that. Our rescue department, who covers these towns, benefit from that. My children who drive on those roads, your family members who drive on those roads, they benefit. Towns don't benefit from that kind of coverage. Human beings do. So can we at least agree to that right there? Thank you.
Mr. Whitney is exactly correct. I've been on this for multiple years.
We're going to have to have the mic here.
I don't think it needs, but that's fine. We want to hear your voice, Ronnie. Come on.
I want to hear you. Even your voice doesn't carry that well.
So Mr. Whitney is exactly right. I've been on this for quite a few years. I'm on the road all day long, going from job site to job site. I see them leaving town. We've got Newry that's got half the mill rate we do. So those taxpayers in Newry are benefiting from our $700,000. I say we vote this down. I'm a big supporter of the police. We vote this down for negotiation purposes, have a different conversation. But the selectmen are looking after us. It's $700 million. Do that over 10 years. It's $7 million. Right? $7 million. We've got taxpayers here that are struggling to put fuel in their car to pay their taxes. We've got Newry that's fully taking advantage of us. Think about this. We share a transfer station with Newry in Hanover. Yeah, we take the full burden for the police department. I agree, Arthur County must be understaffed because we're paying the boatload in this town. You know, if we gotta go to county coverage for a while and renegotiate, that's one thing. No, and I leave that up to you folks. Mr. Whitney's exactly correct. We are supplementing these neighboring towns. Granted, they are people, but they are taxpayers like we are. And these taxes, our taxes, I'm an assessor, our taxes are going up and up and up. So I'm going to vote this down in hopes that they can negotiate something regionally and bring them back. Because I am in favor, I like one, a lot of the baseball coaches. But it's $700,000 over 10 years, it's $7 million.
Thank you. Yes.
I just have a question about if we do vote this down, what happens to our coverage while things are being refigured? You mentioned these quarterly meetings. I was driving in this. Coverage while we're making a different plan.
So I have attended many selectmen's meetings, commissioners' meetings, and the county commissioner has been very clear that if there's no contract, they would either lay people off. So we wouldn't have, they're not going to allow me to provide coverage in the town of Bethel if there isn't a contract, that enhanced coverage. So there'd be one deputy covering more than 18 towns. Bethel would be part of that. And I can say, and you can go through it all, is the county commissioner's stance is there's no negotiation, that they're saying that the $168,000 that is going to go up is exactly what it costs, and that they feel that they're following state statute. They can't make money on this, and they can't lose money on it, but it has to be the actual cost of the deputy. And then if you just look at what the towns around us pay that have their own police departments and divide it by the number of officers they have by their total budget, the 176 is quite low, to be honest with you. And when you're not just paying for that deputy, you're paying for that time slot. So you're paying for 24-hour coverage. So when one of the deputies breaks a leg and they're out for 12 weeks, you don't pay any extra, the deputy's covered. And if someone has a child and they're out on family medical, there's somebody there. And I think you do see deputies moving around because we have a substation here, so there's more than one deputy in town. Sometimes you do have more than that. But the negotiations on the county level, the commissioners are not negotiating. They're made very clear. I've argued and have been blue in my face, and it's just not happening with that. Their stance is that's the state statute.
Thank you, Sherry. Chair.
Sherry Crockett. Sheriff, could you tell us a little bit about the idea that the county is overstaffed currently with deputies and how that affects the rest of the county and Bethel?
Well, the county is definitely not overstaffed. For the rural patrol, the number of rural patrol deputies has not gone up in years. It artificially looks like it's high because we've made contracts with other towns and school districts, but the amount of deputies has not increased in years. I've asked every year for an increase. We haven't gotten it. It's been denied. They're going to do a study, but we have not increased the number of patrol deputies that cover the rural patrol towns in probably a decade. So.
Thank you. My name is Adams. I work in public safety in several facets, including the dispatch center. I think it's important for folks to know, and Darren sort of pointed to this, but after midnight, there's no coverage in the rest of the county, right? So we are paying for that enhanced service, not just for Bethel, but for the entire county, right? So when we talk about negotiations, no, we can't change that number for that individual deputy that we continue to pay for in Bethel. But when we say no, we're not covering the rest of the county, not bearing the burden for enhanced coverage after midnight and until 6, 7 a.m. for everybody around us, right? We go back to the standard coverage. We're at the same coverage in all of our neighboring towns as the rest of the county, right? With our own municipal department. So we're not losing things. So just to be clear, there will still be deputies at Bethel, right? Especially when your kids are riding bikes during the day, right? That was a stereotype. That was not appropriate. Anyway, I can't support this. I can't support that we continue to pay for this enhanced coverage when the real problem is the staffing at the sheriff's office. There are 3 shifts. You tell me how we cover 24/7 with 3 shifts, right? So maybe in his 3rd term, the sheriff can get it right.
So I just will say that there's a bargaining unit contract in county commissioners, and that we follow procedures if that other towns are covered with a deputy being on call. So if you live in the town of Woodstock or Gilead, the deputy that covers those areas goes in typically at midnight, is on call until 3 a.m., and then the day shift deputy goes on call and then comes out at 7 a.m. So, but Melissa, if there's a call in the town of Lovell, West Paris, then the deputy that covers that area is supposed to be called out to respond to those.
Where are they coming from? Sometimes not even in this county.
Well, it depends where they live, you know. Yeah, but in Bethel, the deputy's on duty 24 hours a day, so they're not driving from a great distance. They're already in town. Yeah.
What I'm going to speak to is I agree with Darren. And from my position, public safety is important as an official to me. And I look at this as the collective we. You can't always put a price on that, as people have always said. You may use the service. If you have an unfortunate situation, you use the service. What do you put a price on that call versus somebody else who may never use the service? And in that regard, I see it similar to fire. I see it similar to rescue. It's very hard to put a price on it for the collective we. We're basically paying for a service that we hope we never use personally, right? So for me, I don't like these rates. I've stood in front of the commissioners, and that's another avenue for you. Bethel's commissioner is Lisa Kine. You can go talk to her and see if she can negotiate. There are things that, for me, I'm not going to give up on trying to get a lower rate. But I look at this as the collective we. And as Darren said, there are functions that the deputies perform that you don't even know about. They're there when there's a fire. They're there for rescue. They're there in these emergency situations. They're there for public works when they have to tow a vehicle during a snowstorm. So there are other functions that they do provide. I like the idea about asking the other towns to chip in. We have approached the commissioners, just so you know a little bit of the background, to use the Penobscot County methodology, where they have similar contracts to us, where the town pays 80% and the county picks up the other 20% to help with the mutual aid. Bethel is a service center. We have people coming in from northwest, south, east. It's transient in nature. We have over 500 skier visits at Sunday River of people coming in, and we don't have any help for about 30 miles in either direction. So for me, I'm not going to stop fighting, and I don't think the rest of the select board is going to stop fighting to get a different rate, but priority for me is your public safety and collective good.
White House.
Brooke Libby, Bethel. I just want to say you can be for the collective we, as Michelle says, and still vote this down.
Yes, Suzanne.
For anybody, Mr. Whitney or the select board, just logistically, it sounds like we're going to a paper vote on this. And I'm just asking logistically, if someone is voting no, can you tell me the time frame right now of the current contract? Thought I heard something about 40 or 60, 30 days, something. Can you talk about I'd like to hear from the select board on this. And then, can you tell me when that quarterly meeting is happening? Thank you.
Our coverage will stop on June 30th of this year if this is voted down. We will then have to go back and negotiate with the commissioners to enter into a new contract. The contract we currently have will be gone. It won't exist anymore. The contract that they have on the table now that they want us to sign, the select board will not sign it because we are still under the contract that was originally drafted here whenever you turn the service over to them. That decision was told to us by our town attorney. So we want to remain under the current contract, but again, the coverage stops on June 30th, and we would have to negotiate a new contract at that point. The cost would be the same per deputy as everyone else would have to pay, but until something could be agreed upon and then brought back to another special town meeting to raise that money, we have no coverage here other than the coverage provided by Oxford County for every other town in Oxford County. And what are you going to lose? You're going to lose response time, just like has been spoken by several others here. And that's what you want to ask yourself. Do you want an offer? If your house is being broken into and you call for coverage at 3 o'clock in the morning, the soonest you're going to get a response time is from the officer that is covering the county to come from their home, which could be 30 to 45 minutes, or you're going to have an officer that is going to be right here. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you for that. I think it's more about the process and trusting. I think we all agree we want response time. So the logistics of what's going to happen to the incident. We all want response time to our loved ones. Thank you.
I'm trying to take everybody in order. I don't think you've spoken for it yet, sir. In the blue.
Yeah, let's see.
Hi, everybody. I'm Allie's husband. My name is Kane Williamson. I want to talk a little bit about response time because I actually have first-hand experience with the sheriff department's response time to a structure fire. My neighbor's garage caught on fire. and the Oxford County Sheriff's Department did not show up for over 30 minutes, and when they did, they stood around and did nothing. Are you implying that if we don't increase this budget, that is going to get worse?
One of the selectmen wanted to say,
I just wanted to clarify, so what Sharon said is true, that our attorney is saying that we are currently under our old contract, but the commissioners claim that we are not under that contract anymore. They are adamant that that contract is no longer valid, and that we do not currently have a valid contract until we sign their new contract. There are many issues with the new contract, and I agree with Sharon that no one on this select, well, I can't speak for everyone, but I think many of us will not sign that new contract as written. There are many issues, including Bethel paying for the substations, an added increase to this contract. And I think this is just an example of the continued challenges of working with the commissioners. And there's an argument that voting this down would void our current contract. In my opinion, our current contract is not particularly strong, steadfast, in that it is being denied by the county right now. So I think it's important to have that gray area information.
Mr. Savage?
Yes.
Yes.
My
My apologies.
I'll be super quick.
You're all done. My mistake, Ron, we'll get back to you.
I really have a question about, my name is Rebecca Zigarelli, I'm living in Bethel. I used to be a reporter for the Bethel Citizen and covered a lot of the stuff that happened when we disbanded our police department originally. First of all, I want to say, like, Maine is the safest place in the nation to live. And the idea that we should have public safety coverage that's fear-based is kind of, I'm just not very cool with that. So I hope they remember, we live in a really safe community. We take care of each other. The second question I have, though, is about how much of this cost is due to empty houses. We have a lot of second homes in Bethel. I'm really grateful they contribute to the tax base. I understand that they deserve police coverage, but if a short circuit triggers a call through a security system, I don't think as a taxpayer, I'm responsible for that. So I would like to know how that sorts out in all of this coverage, please. Thank you.
I don't have that number offhand, but Chris, maybe you can.
Great. But I think your question was, you're asking how many residents or dwellings in the town of Bethel are not owner-occupied, resident owner-occupied?
I want to know how often we, as taxpayers of the town, are paying to call security calls by electronic systems that are no crime. They're just, the system didn't work, or an animal walked by a camera or something.
I think they're quite minimal. There's some statistics in there, but our dispatch center does a great job of kind of taking those down. They have caretakers get called first if there's certain things before a deputy automatically responds to some of those calls, especially if there's power outages and things like that. But there's a call volume list. I don't have it in front of me, but it can tell you alarms, and then it would be a little difficult to break it down. But most alarms are coming in from businesses or dwellings. So.
Hi, I'm John Haddad. I'm an Albany resident. Do I need to be voted if I can speak? I'm good to go? Okay.
Motion.
I've heard from other speakers here that surrounding towns and townships are, because we don't have this enhanced coverage, we're apparently full of dope running and drugs and violent crime. Can I ask, in Bethel, how often are the sheriff's deputies responding to, I don't mean like, is a kid smoking pot at the high school, real serious crimes at 2 in the morning? How often are they actually responding to these types of things that they would not be otherwise responding to?
You want to know how many calls are at 2 a.m.?
Yeah, but like I'm saying, how many, like, I've heard people kicking in the door. When was the last time that we had a violent home invasion in the Bethel area that your office responded to?
It does happen on occasion. I don't have the statistics in front of me to tell you right at the top of my head.
Above 10,
Asking
below 10?
You're asking kind of a hypothetical question. The statistics are there.
If you're speaking exclusively in hypothetical situations, where are these home invasions that he was claiming is happening? Where is this violent crime? Is my question.
He's not a resident.
He's got a good point. He was wanted to speak.
The statistics are available, the sheets over there to tell you the crimes, and you can go through it, and I'd certainly talk to you offline if you want to know which ones specifically, but the breakdown by category is there. I don't necessarily have dates and times for each one of the locations. The report is a statistical report, but all that information is available, and it is given to the select board on a weekly and bi-weekly basis, the breakdown.
Yes, bring it back.
Can I call the question to a vote?
Wait for the mic.
Wait. Sorry, I'm Jean Benedict, and I'm asking if you can call the question.
Call the question. Do I have a second? I have a motion to end discussion. Been moved and seconded. All those in favor of ending the discussion? Thank you. Those opposed? We will move the question. Thank you. I was going to, yeah. I can't, Ron, I can't. I'm sorry.
But it's the company doesn't have enough deputies with me. That's the issue. Point of order.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to do this by section. We're going to be going over there, and the clerks will give you a piece of paper to write yes or no on, and I'd like to do it that half at the back first, and that second, and then we'll come here, and then back to this page. So, when you're ready to go vote, go ahead. Yes means that we will support the budget, no means we will not.
You just got the wrong set of answers.
What's that? Oh, bring your yellow slip when you come to vote.
Your son is threatening to prevent play or anything like that. He cannot help.
I've not seen him at that hurts you if I could bleed out.
I know.
I don't think he's so about all these. It's the part of the consequences. They're talking about the drug gangs. I don't see this. I live in the people that are the actual dangerous nuts in the highway. No problem. Except for the one guy who lives sometimes in the afternoon. Shows up in heckles to the hills. Stop. Because sometimes he plays Skinner, and that's okay. He'll do Skinner and then just change everyone's name. I am dying. Absolutely. Like, if I haven't been able to, I don't want that. Oh my God. Should we take this opportunity to choose?
Like asking you guys, like, demo would be. It's pretty cool. It doesn't have an attitude. You could see that. Or you probably wasn't going to see the time to come in. So it's they are doing it.
When you guys I can for a
Has anybody voted that Mr. Bennett? Well, when you get home, you look up the line and sing
I guess that's I was coming to the investment for training all day. That was anyway, but we stopped, we helped them with that. We got
There is to know. Yeah, right next to it's a little more different than it is up there. Yeah, you have about 5 minutes less down here.
If everybody's ready, wishes to go. Okay. Now we declare the ballot box closed and ask that the ballots be counted.
Definitely hard to listen to when it's crowd chatter.
Much better person than I. A bit more thoughtful than I. The more similar. The old school.
Okay. There's 130 ballots cast. There were 42 yes and 88 no. Article is defeated.
Good luck.
Article 8 is defeated. There will be no Oxford County Patrol coverage starting July 1st. The extra coverage. What's that? 88 no, 42 yes. So, we will move on. Article 9, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $324,524 for the fire department. Could I have a motion, please? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 9? Not seeing and hearing any, I'd ask you to vote. All those in favor of Article 9 is read, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 9 is approved as presented. Article 10, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $637,452 for the ambulance department. Do I have a motion, please? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 10? Yes, way in the back.
Hi there, my name is Randy Autry and I am a Bethel resident. I was on the fire department for more than 20 years, so I know how much training and effort goes into that. I'm here tonight in support of the increase in the ambulance budget, and I'll tell you why. In April, I had my worst day. I had blurry vision and slurred speech. And my wife called the ambulance, and they rushed me down. They were at my house within minutes, rushed me down to Stevens. I couldn't wait to get out of Stevens, to be honest with you. And the guy at the emergency room said, "We think you had a stroke, you can go home." I said, "No, thank you." So I went to Central Maine Medical Center, and I said, "They think I just had a stroke." A few days later, they performed open heart surgery. I had a 5 bypass, and I had 3 completely blocked arteries. I would have been dead without this stroke. And what followed. So to me, everyone that's wearing these blue shirts are hometown heroes, and I wish they would stand up. There was a young lady named Violet that came to my house that night. I don't know what she looks like. I don't know what the driver looks like. I wasn't really in that mood, but all of these people, if you please stand up, you are hometown heroes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Are you ready for the vote on Article 10? All those in favor of Article 10, please indicate by raising your card. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 10 is approved as presented. Article 11, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $567,271 for the solid waste department. Could I have a motion, please? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 11? I don't see any, so we will move on. All those in favor of Article 11 as read, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 11 is now approved as presented. Article 12, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $200,000 for the disposal fee of the municipal solid waste collected in Casella dumpsters and MSW picked up curbside by Casella. The customer will pay Casella for the curbside dumpster service. Could I have a motion, please? Thank you. Been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 12? Yes. Thank you for taking that mic around. That's a big help to all of us.
I had a question about this. Does this involve tipping fees? I've heard some people talking about customers are gonna pay the tipping fee, or whether, depending on which way we vote, the town picks up the tipping fees now for us. Do they pick it up for us at the roadside service also? Do you continue that if we vote for this? So residents that have Casella Waste pick up their garbage won't have to worry about tipping fees because they're all included still. Okay. And why did it go down? I mean, I'm not complaining, but...
The $300,000 was included Newry being part of this agreement. Newry at their town meeting in May voted not to continue with this service. So the $300,000 cost is the cost of the two towns. So removing Newry from this, it's going to be $200,000 for Bethel. So we were able to reduce it from 3 to 2. Because Newry's no longer going to be having their dumpster, what? No, that's separate. The transfer station is in the previous article. That involves the interlocal agreement, but the dumpster and curbside pickup is separate. That's a cost of up to $200,000 for the town of Bethel.
Thank you. Anything else? Yes, Scott.
I have a question. We voted this subject a year ago, I believe. And I'm going to ask one of the selectmen, why did you bring it back to us again and vote another time? I love these settled policy, but it's an open question and not the answer, but I support the article, but I'm going to vote for it. Thank you.
It's not us voting to decide if we're going to have this service. It's a separate amount from the transfer station.
That's from selectmen, but it's a contribution.
So
why are we voting again, Sharon? We voted last year.
we're voting on the money.
Right. We voted on it last year, so we come back every year now.
At this time, it seems like we're voting whether to participate in this or not, because it's a separate warrant article. But what the article is calling for is for the appropriation of the money. I hope next year that it is a sub-line item of the solid waste budget and not a separate article. That's me.
Thank you. Anything further on Article 12? Seeing none then, I'd ask you to vote. All those in favor of Article 12 as read and explained, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 12 is approved as presented. Article 13, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $809,897 for the Public Works Department. The school board and the select board and budget committee recommend approval. Could I have a motion, please? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 13? Not seeing or hearing any, I'd ask for your vote. All those in favor of Article 13 is read, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 13 is now approved as presented. Article 14, see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $34,598 for the town office facility. This is a recommended approval article. Could I have a motion from you, please? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 14? Seeing none then, I'd ask you to vote. All those in favor of Article 14, please raise your hand. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 14 is approved as presented. Article 15, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $29,090 for the fire station facility. Do I have a motion, please? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 15? Not seeing any, then I'd ask you to vote. All those in favor of Article 15 is read, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 15 is approved as presented. Article 16, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $19,400 for the town garage facility. Thank you. Do I have a second? Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 16? Not seeing any then, I'd ask you to vote. All those in favor of Article 16 is read, please raise your hand. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 16 is approved as presented. Article 17, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $18,780 for the ambulance building facility. Can I have a motion, please? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 17? Not seeing any then, I'd ask you to vote. All those in favor of Article 17 is read, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 17 is approved as presented. Article 18, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $4,000 for general assistance. Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 18? Not seeing any, I call for your vote. All those in favor of Article 18 is read, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 18 is approved as presented. Article 19, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $105,179 for the Recreation Department. Do I have a motion, please? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 19? Not seeing any then, I'd ask you to vote. All those in favor of Article 19 is read, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 19 is approved as presented. Article 20, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $9,539 for Angevine Park. Could I have a motion, please? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Seeing no questions on Article 20, I'd ask you to vote. All those in favor of Article 20 is read, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 20 is approved as presented. Article 21, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $21,150 for the Fountain, Park, and Cemetery. Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 21? Yes.
Mike, where's the mic? And
Where's the mic? We can't complain. She's doing such a great job.
The flags that the town buys for the street, are they included in this fountain, parks, and cemetery? Or is that a different animal?
This year. No, and this year we had a grant that pays for half of it. So, but it's in the Public Works budget.
Right, because I was looking at that amount for the flags. And I know Stockton always called me to order them, and we get them from Uncommon Flag because they're US-made flags. And I think the last time they were like, ooh, $2,200, and I saw a $600 matching grant, but that doesn't match what they usually cost.
The flags in this budget are for the American Legion for the veterans' graves. That's what the flags are in this budget.
Okay, so
And that,
the street flags,
those are in the Public Works budget.
okay, all right, so I'll wait for Scott to call me. Because the honor roll funds that we still have pay for the flags that are at the honor roll.
Yeah.
We do those each year, so.
So last year, Scott recommended that he received $1,400 for these veterans flags, and Marcus for Memorial Day this year, it was $1,500, and that's why it's in here at 15. Oh, so we did, yes, we did put the flags that we got the grant in here. It's right above that in the detail. It's the street flags that we got the grant for, yes.
Good question, thank you. Anything further on Article 21? If not, I ask you to vote. All those in favor of Article 21 is read and explained, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 21 is approved as presented. Article 22, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $22,500 for the Bethel Library. Do I have a motion, please? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 22? Not seeing any? I'd ask you to vote. All those in favor of Article 22 is read, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 22 is approved as presented. Article 23, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $15,000 for the Museums of Bethel Historical Society for operations. Could I have a motion, please? It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 23? Not seeing any then again, I'd ask you to vote. All in favor of Article 23 is read, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 23 is approved as presented. Article 24, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $600 for the Museums of the Bethel Historical Society for a band for the July 4th picnic. Could I have a motion, please? It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 24? None, seeing none, I call you to vote. All those in favor of Article 24, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 24 is approved as presented. Article 25, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $20,000 for the Food Pantry District Exchange. Could I have a motion, please? Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 25? Yes? She's coming.
I remember, I don't think it was last year, so my husband was sick, but I think it was the year before, the food pantry came to us and requested, was it about 6 figures, was it? 120,000, was it? How much was it? So, yeah, maybe it was 40, but I know it was an amount because I've never seen it before. What does this 20,000 do for the food pantry?
Hi, Dave. We spend $95,000 a year on food. 44% of the people who come into the food pantry are from Bethel. We just asked for $20,000 in support. It goes to pay for food. It's food that we're not getting somehow free. So if you think about the math of that, 20,000 is a low ask. 44% of the people are from Bethel. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? Not seeing anything more, I call you to vote. All those in favor of Article 25 is read and explained, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 25 is approved as presented. Article 26, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $1,000 for project graduation. Could I have a motion, please? It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 26? Seeing none, I'd ask you to vote. All those in favor of Article 26 is read, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 26 is approved as presented. Article 27, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $1,200 for the Age-Friendly Community Initiative. Could I have a motion, please? Thank you. Been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 27? Yes, Sherry.
Sherry Crockett, can you explain what this initiative is and how it helps Bethel?
Over one the ladies over there.
I'm Julie Hart. I'm the chair of the Age-Friendly Community Initiative. Basically, we're a volunteer group that was formed several years before my time that coordinates with the towns of the district to keep elderly citizens in their homes. We do
rides program. We offer rides for residents to doctor's appointments. We have a walking program. We have a friendly neighbor program that we coordinate with Telstar High School, where the kids and volunteers go to people's homes and put wood up and stack wood, do other projects around the house. We serve a lot of people. I don't have the number in front of me, but it's a fun group. We're all volunteers. We have the community connector now, position that's paid for by a grant from the University of Maine, and she goes to the all senior citizens groups and programs. There's a program in Bryant Pond that does games for senior citizens, and we provide resources, and it's just a wonderful organization to be a part of. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Behind there? Yeah.
Hi, my name is Eliza Reason. I'm a Bethel resident and I'm a nurse. And I just wanted to say thank you to the volunteers of AFCI. When I send Bethel residents home from the hospital to come home to town, this is one of the services that I refer people to. And so it's essentially preventative health care. It prevents people from coming back into a hospital, which is super valuable to me as a healthcare worker, but it's also super valuable to us as townspeople to keep our neighbors in their home. So thank you to AFCI for providing these services. And I think the cost of $1,200 that the town spends is really, really well spent.
Thank you. Yes, okay. Yes, all right. Scott's fine. We'll go back.
My turn?
Yeah, your turn.
On the article, I speak in support of it, and I just had a question for the board, the budget committee. The other article is similar in nature. The board, select board is recommending approval. This one says doesn't recommend approval. So is there a reason why it was singled out? It seems like a small amount of money, but I'd like to maybe...
The budget committee advises the budget.
Select board recommend. Well, we had here from the budget committee. I got half of it.
Way in the back, in the middle. Yes.
That was also my question. Why the dissent from the budget committee? Like, it's not a big number. I love programs like this, but I'm curious why the dissent.
Who from the budget committee would like to answer why that wasn't included or supported? Anybody? Yes? Oh. Is there any budget committee members here? Oh, don't remember what happened, okay. Sarah will take it.
I think it was just a deadline issue.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's right, yeah. So there was a deadline that the letters needed to be in by, and it just didn't make it in, but it is an organization that we have supported in the past.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Hi, I'm Beth again. Because I'm a nerd, I made a spreadsheet to figure out like how much of my taxes go to different things. And I know it's an assessment or an estimate because we don't have the mill rate yet, but this, for every $100,000 of property value I have, it's less than 10 cents that I would be paying towards something that is this much. So just to keep that in mind.
Thank you. Was there another? Yes.
I would just like to clarify that.
A year ago, the town manager sent everybody a letter requesting more information about what we do, and it was quite a letter, so we sent it in. This year, this year we did not get any deadline. Maybe I should have called and said what the deadline is, but the letter went in the first week of March.
Okay.
I just, I don't want people to think that we didn't get it in.
Thank you. If there's nothing further, I call for your vote. All those in favor of Article 27 as read and explained, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 27 is approved as presented. Article 28, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $4,000 for Seniors Plus. Do I have a motion, please? It's been moved and seconded. Any questions on Article 28? If not, I'd ask you to vote. All those in favor of Article 28 is read, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 28 is approved as presented. Article 29 is if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $4,000 for community concepts. Could I have a motion, please? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 29? Hearing none, I'd ask you to vote. All those in favor of Article 29 is read, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 29 is approved as presented. Article 30, so that the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $2,212 for Andwell Health Partners, formerly Androscoggin Home Health Care. Do I have a motion, please? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any questions?
This is a new request.
If this is a new request, what?
Andwell is formerly Androscoggin Home Health Care, and last year was their first transition year. Previous to that, Androscoggin Home Health Care always requested funding and received it. Last year they did not because of their transition year.
Thank you, Sharon. Anything else on Article 20, on Article 30? If not, I'd ask you to vote. All those in favor of Article 30 as read and explained, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 30 is approved as presented. Article 31, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $750 for the Cancer Center of Western Maine. Could I have a motion, please? Second's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 31? Seeing none then, I'd ask you to vote. All in favor of Article 31 is read, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 31 is approved as presented. Article 32, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $53,750 for municipal property and casualty insurance. Do I have a motion, please?
I make a motion that Article 32 be accepted.
It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 32? Seeing none then, I'd ask you to vote. All in favor of Article 32 is read, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 32 is approved as presented. Article 33, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $796,306 for employee benefits. You can see the list. Could I have a motion, please? It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 33? Seeing none then? Oh, here we go. Hi there.
My question is, since we did not, sorry, Sue Ranaway, we did not vote on whatever we did with the salaries in the beginning, that we need to go back and refigure. Do we know that this number will stay the same? Because some of these things are dependent on whatever salaries are.
This is only benefits, and this stays exactly the same. The administration budget is going to be the same amount that was in this budget here, so it has no reflection. The insurance benefits, the retirement benefits, everything stays exactly the same.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, just a clarifying question. This budget this year is almost $800,000, and it was closer to $625,000. So it's just a big increase, and I'm just curious what's driving that. If someone could explain on the board.
Insurance increased this year by just under 10%, and so that's one of the biggest increase in this budget. Plus, we've added a new full-time position, the full-time rescue chief, and his benefits are included in this. you'll see the bottom where it shows rescue medical Maine PERS and taxes. That is specifically for the new position in rescue. Okay?
Good question, thank you. Anything further on Article 33? Not seeing anything then, I'd ask you to vote. All those in favor of Article 33 as read and explained, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 33 is approved as presented. Article 34, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $196,033 for the airport department. Could I have a motion, please? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 34? Seeing none, I would ask you to vote. All those in favor of Article 34 is read. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 34 is approved as presented. Article 35, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $1,049,225 for capital improvements. The list is there for you. Could I have a motion, please? It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 35? Seeing none, then, I'd ask you to vote. All those in favor of Article 35 as presented, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 35 is approved as presented. Article 36, to see if the town will vote to appropriate and spend the overlay generated during the 2027 fiscal year to pay for tax abatements. Do I have a motion, please? Thank you. Been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 36? Yes, James.
I guess I don't understand what this is. What is overlay? Is it money, more money than we spend?
When the mill rate calculation is done, it includes the assessments, the revenues, the expenses, and that determines the mill rate. It also allows for an amount of money to be incorporated in that covers any abatements that have to be paid out. So if your property was overassessed and you had to get $500 back because your property taxes were too high, that comes out of that account.
Thank you. Anything further on Article 36, I'm sorry. If not, then I'd ask you to vote. All those in favor of Article 36 is read, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 36 is approved as presented. Article 37. To see if the town will vote to authorize the select board or the town manager acting in concurrence with said select board to accept and expend on behalf of the town federal and/or state funds which may be received from time to time in the form of grants or for any other purposes, including but not limited to municipal revenue sharing, local road assistance, state aid to education, state aid per capita, civil emergency funds, snowmobiling registration money, tree growth reimbursement money, general assistance reimbursement, community development block grant, economic development administration grants, federal emergency management administration grants, Northern Border Regional Commission grants, U.S. Fire Administration grants, and to act on anything relative thereto. Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 37? If not, then I'd ask you to vote. All those in favor of Article 37 is read. Thank you. Those opposed? Article 37 is approved as presented. Article 38, to see if the town will vote to authorize the treasurer to waive the automatic foreclosure of a tax lien mortgage by recording a waiver of foreclosure at the registry of deeds in which the tax lien certificate is recorded prior to the expiration of the right of redemption pursuant to Title 36 MRS subsection 944 upon a finding by the select board that ownership of the property that is subject to the tax lien mortgage would be contrary to the town's best interest. It's been moved and seconded. Any question on Article 38? Yes.
Can we also move the rest of them?
Let's get through this one and then I'll talk to you about that. Anything further on Article 38? If not, then I'd ask you to vote. All those in favor of Article 38 is read, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed, Article 38 is approved as presented. What the lady asks is if we can vote on all the remaining articles, 39 through 48, with one final vote. And that, did you make that as a motion?
I would love to, yeah.
Okay. They were waiting for you. It's been moved and seconded to vote on each one of the remaining, to vote on Articles 38, 39 through 48 with one vote. Be aware that you can ask questions on any one of them before we vote. And with that in mind, are you agreeable to vote on all of those in one vote? All those in favor? Thank you. Those opposed? Yeah, we can. I'll retract. Any discussion? Yes.
I have a problem with including all those articles in one motion because Article 47 addresses the undesignated fund balance of taking $500,000 from the undesignated funds. And in past meetings, that has usually been the last question or the last article. And it's come up before that that amount has been adjusted before in previous meetings. So if it's included in Articles 39 through 48, and I assume when you say that, you say, is there do I have a motion to approve Articles 39 through 48? Yes, and there's discussion.
That's right.
And when you vote on it, all of them are a yes, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So that means that you accept the $500,000 when maybe somebody wants to increase that to $1 million.
You can't go up. It's in the wording of the article and it can't be increased here.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Was that last year? Of course, it was, my husband was sick, so I wasn't here. All right, I guess I'm screwed.
No, I didn't say that. Any other questions on voting on those articles conclusively? Oh.
The reason it's in the article is because that is what the auditors recommend that we can take from the fund balance. The reason that the articles changed 2 years ago to capped versus non-capped articles was because in 2005, the state introduced a law that introduced a tax levy limit on all municipalities where they had to go through this spreadsheet and determine what the tax levy limit was on their municipality, and they could not raise more money than what was allowed under that tax levy limit, which required a warrant article asking the taxpayers if they would increase the tax levy limit in the event that the budget was voted more than what the limit was allowed. That was an article that never was done here in Bethel, and when I came here in '24, I explained the difference because that law was still in effect. I explained the difference to the select board, and I asked them if they would vote to cap the articles so that we didn't have that issue of the amount of spending exceeding the tax levy limit. Last year, the law changed, and they took away the tax levy limit, which is actually the best thing they could have done, because that was a very exhausting thing to have to try to figure out once a year. So that's why the limit. Also, keeping the capped articles allows for spending that is not needed that will increase the mill rate. Because if it was open-ended and you could increase every article, you could actually increase the mill rate by 1 or 2 mills in just voting on items that you increased at town meeting, and I don't think you want to do that.
Undesignated fund.
The town has over $5 million in it.
Right, so did the state tell you that's what you could take, or can the selectmen say before this budget is finished and the warrants are done, could they vote to bring $1 million in this article to the voters, or is it state regulated that it's a certain percent?
No, it doesn't have to be a 6. The select board voted the 500,000, which was recommended by the auditors.
If you want to do open-ended articles for next year, lobby your select persons.
Yes, Scott?
Make motion to close debate.
Thank you.
So we're now vote on whether or not to vote in max.
Is that seconded? All those in favor of ending the discussion? Thank you. Those opposed? We will end the discussion. We'll call for the debate. All those in favor of approving Articles 39 through 48 as they are presented? All those in favor, please indicate. Thank you. Those opposed? Articles 39 through 48 have been approved in one ballot. And I have a motion to adjourn. All those in favor of adjourning? Thank you. Those opposed? No, I would like to say thank you for participating. It's been great. Quick and deep.